significant number of global employers, probably all of you out there listening to us right now, are expecting to see skill gaps, expecting talent shortages, expecting some sort of impact from that. And that's not even talking about some of the AI piece that's going to evolve those skills and potentially further increase that risk there. So we can't produce more people, but if we can attract and we can convert candidates better than the competition, then that's a competitive advantage for all of us. So we're going to spend some time talking about some of the things that you can do and be thinking about in the coming year to help yourself stand out in the right way when you're trying to appeal to candidates, trying to connect with them, trying to attract them to your organization. So Rich, I'm going to start with you since you gave us a good cue into that a minute ago on the data on that. What are your recommendations for how companies can attract and retain global talent in the coming year?
So there's obviously mixed data per geography around how hiring is going to pan out over the next year or two. There's obviously a deflation on permanent hiring at the moment. Obviously, a lot of staffing companies are reporting between 5 to 20% reduction in fees. I don't think all of that is due to a reduction in hiring. I think this is some of the disruption within AI is actually impacting staffing firms. And then there's obviously contingent hiring, which continues to increase. And I think there are very different ways that you need to attract talent, both permanently and from a contingent perspective, but they're both just as important, but they're very, very different. I think when it comes to the permanent hiring or full-time hiring, depending what geography you're in, but, and it's something that Jerry had mentioned, remote hiring is so important, and being able to offer flexibility, being able to offer, financial and mental well-being, being able to offer ways that make people feel involved, but give them the flexibility that they need. We're seeing a return of these return to work or return to office mandates. I won't mention the companies, but there is a lot in the press around this. And I think the companies who stay strong on that and are able to be able to say, hey, look, we don't need people to report back 5 days a week or 4 days a week. These are adults. Like Spotify obviously took the opposite stance. I take the opposite stance. If people are really productive working a certain way, then let them work that way. If they are productive being in an office environment, then that's their choice, but do not mandate them. And I think that will be the key attraction and retention tool this year will be companies that offer really strong remote and flexible packages. And then when it comes to the contingent hiring, the companies just don't think about contingent as an afterthought or second-class citizens and actually put contingent up as one of their key focus to add new skills and have a really strong supplier base and a really strong compliance process as well, because contractor compliance is a big topic just now in the US and the UK. And having the policies in place there, what a full-time employee wants and what a contractor wants are very different things. But I think by having a clear strategy for both is really going to be how you're going to attract and retain those different talent pools this year. None of that's new, but I think it really polarizes now. I think companies need to make a real stance now to say, hey, this is how we're going to do full-time hiring. This is how we're going to do remote working. This is how we're going to do contingent hiring and be vocal about it. I think that'll be really, really important.